Today is a travel day and we're just getting ready to pack everything up so that we can go. We're going to be traveling for about 2 days, so I'm going to just turn the camera around, show you guys what we typically do on our travel day. If this is your first time here, I'm Rachel and I'm married to Matt. We've got 5 kids and we're currently traveling the southern states in an RV with 4 of our kids. So today we're probably driving for about 5 hours, and then tomorrow we're going to be driving another 6.5 hours. We're headed to Joplin, Missouri to visit some family. I'm going to grab just a backpack and throw in there some books and cars and dolls, a few little things, some drawing pads and pens for the kids. They do really well on our long days, and you'd be surprised, but we do not take electronics with us in the car. I'm not judging anyone who does, but we decided when we were coming down that we weren't going to do it, and we didn't. They asked a couple of times, but honestly, it's been super rewarding. We don't have that fighting going on. We don't have screen brain in our kids. I think you know what I mean when I say that. There's not those meltdowns happening. They're really interested in where we are. They're looking at the maps on our phones, looking out the window and noting stuff. We'll Google information about stuff that we're passing, and it just turns into an educational experience. We do a lot of I Spy and listening to music in the car. My husband puts on awesome playlists, and yeah, it's just a blast. We're gonna bring hoodies in the vehicle for all the kids because the kids are always complaining that they're cold or they're hot or whatever, and you don't want to have to stop for that. Also, make sure all your kids go pee before you leave. I can't tell you how many times we've been like less than half a mile down the road and one or more of the kids are like, I have to pee, and you're like, seriously? You just tucked up and pulled out? Like, why didn't you think of this? They just don't. They're kids. They don't think of that stuff. Each of the kids has one of these water bottles, and we're going to fill these up and bring them in the truck with us so that when they get thirsty, we don't have to stop and we've got something with us. So some things that I bring in the car for myself, I make sure my phone is charged up, and then I bring my headphones, personal development book, notebook, pen, that sort of thing. I'll be listening to a podcast in one ear while I'm doing stuff with the kids, and it just makes it less boring for me, the driving, and I'm actually being productive and I'm feeding myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and just filling up my tank before we're stopped and I get to serve my family again. This is our morning mess from our breakfast that we're just going to clean up quickly. We got to get all that stuff put away. I take this basket, it's just a tiny little basket, and I gather up the weird odds and ends that are always left behind. The marker, the game pieces, a toy car, whatever. I don't have time this morning to be organizing and putting things away, so I'm going to use that. This camping chair and this folding table, when I'm done doing the dishes, are going to get fired under this table here, and then I'm going to have to deal with that stuff because once the slide comes in to about here, that stuff will fall off the shelf in behind the slide. I haven't organized that space for several days, so it's kind of a mess. I've put our washing machine and laundry in the shower along with our beach tent that we take with us everywhere we go, and you want to make sure you've got no shampoo or conditioner bottles open or left in the shower when you're gone. In our room, I have a vision board, which is a vintage window here, and it's always hung on the wall, but I take my beach mat, I wrap that over it so that it's nice and protected and not going to break. This is our medicine cabinet. I've tipped that over so it can't fall. I do have some baskets that I will leave on my nightstand. I find they don't slide, but then my laptop and extra books and stuff I put on my bed so they have a place where they're not going to slide and I don't have to worry about them. It's important to check the bathroom, make sure there's nothing on the countertop or up there that can fall down. Okay, he's putting the jacks up, that's what that noise is. I'm just gonna go through and make sure all the lights are off and that the fridge is switched to propane. You wanna check and make sure your fridge and freezer doors are sealed and make sure you hear that click when it shuts. We had one time that it wasn't and we didn't realize, and when we stopped after driving for about 3 hours, there were some surprises and containers on the floor. You do not want that to happen. So you'll also want to make sure that any cupboards that have cleaners or liquids are so noisy. I'm doing a video. Cleaners or liquids or that kind of stuff that you don't want falling out of cupboards, just go through and make sure all your cupboards are actually clicked shut. You'll thank me later. Also, check your nightstands and make sure that you don't have a favorite mug or glass or anything like that left on your nightstand. I did forget that once and it smashed and it was pretty sad. Something else you're going to want to make sure that you do is make sure all your blinds are up. Unless you have a way that they secure while they're down, they're going to flap back and forth and you're going to break all your blinds. You might also want to check your stove and make sure the knobs are not turned. I was doing a video just a second ago and I started smelling propane and I had bumped the knob. It's super easy for that to happen and you might not realize it. So now I've got the vent going and the window open. So now I'm going to make sure that all my vents are closed and all my windows are closed before we head out so that we're not breaking anything. If you don't have time to do your dishes, it's okay, grab a Rubbermaid. You need to have a Rubbermaid at all times so that you can throw stuff in, and just pile those dishes into that Rubbermaid and sit it on the floor. It'll be totally fine until you can do it later. If you are traveling, it is a lot easier if you have done the dishes ahead of time, because then your sinks are free and your dishes are clean so that you can use them. But sometimes if we don't have clean dishes, we'll just stop and pick up some paper plates and we're all good. You're going to want to go through your trailer last minute just to check all your surfaces again and your counters and stuff. If you've been stationary for a while, you're so used to seeing things in a certain place, like my coffee maker on the counter over here or my fruit basket on the table, but if you leave it there, it's going to be a sad story. So go through again, make sure, just check those things and make sure that there's nothing on the counters because it will not stay there. We have a TV that we keep up here on this shelf when we're stopped, and I would have forgotten to take it down. Good thing he remembered. Just realized that my kids' soft pastel paintings were up on my windowsill and they rub off super easily. Does anyone know how to seal these so that the pastel won't just wipe off? I'm not sure how to transport these right now. So my husband's outside and he's already put all the jacks up. He's putting the bikes back on the bike rack on the back of our trailer, and then he's drained our black tank, our gray tanks, and flushed that out, and now he's going to be hooking up the truck as soon as I get the slide in, which I'm not doing until I've finished the dishes. He also goes and checks the oil on our vehicle and the tire pressure just to make sure that everything is safe to go. Okay, everything's ready to go. The slide is in, water bottles are filled, dishes are done. I've got my coffee maker in the sink. Crafts and fruit and leftover stuff has been stashed in the microwave. We're just grabbing our last minute things and doing our final checklist. Closing this window.
There's a Nerf underneath here.
Hooked up and ready to go. Time to go. One hour in and P-stop number 2. Also, why are we leaving Texas? It is so nice. It's like 25 degrees. Sun is shining. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and share it. Also, please subscribe and put in the comments anything you want to see in a future video. We will take the time and do a video on topics that you asked us to cover. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.